So I've been teasing you guys for a while now about my intentions to turn my garage into a Captain Picard style ready room because, well, I'm a massive nerd.
Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley. It's finally happening. And I'm gonna do the whole stupid TikToker thing where they beckon you over to some kind of hip-hop music as if you're not sat watching me on the toilet. Look, the camera will follow me. How cool is that? I have a camera that follows me now. It doesn't have legs though. Oh, right there. So I thought I'd give you the first update using today's sponsor's camera from Obsbot. This is the Obsbot Tail Air you're looking at. Check this out, look. Follows me. It follows me. Look how cool that is. I've bought this up for safety purposes because obviously.
Mate, I've told you before. Can you get off the building site, please? It's not safe for plebs.
Get away from there before I hurt myself. Today's video is all about my plans for how I intend to turn that garage into a Star Trek style studio and how the Obsbot Tail Air fits into those plans. Stick around. Thanks to Obsbot for sponsoring today's video and for sending me 3 of their Obsbot Tail Air cameras, their physical remote control and Ethernet adapters. I'm going to be talking a lot about the camera in today's video, but I promise this isn't a bait and switch. In a minute, I'm going to show you all of the designs that I've put together so far and exactly how far we've got with putting that garage together. This absolute beast of a camera is part of a streaming system which supports up to 3 cameras at a time that you can control via either the app, the physical remote control that you would purchase separately, or in fact using OBS Studio using NDI. And everything you've watched so far has actually been produced not on my £2,000 camera setup, but in fact has been produced on the Obsbot camera I'm talking about today. It also means that as a YouTuber, I can get these fantastic dynamic follow shots, as if I've paid for a cameraman, when in fact, of course, I would never do such a thing, because I'm cheap. I can also plug my microphone in directly to the camera, so that even though I'm all the way over here, you can still hear me, as if I'm right next to you. Genius. I've now spent a total of about 5 hours just designing the layout of the new office to make sure that I still have the space to feed RoboVac sugar. I'm so sorry, 360 RoboVac. Oh gosh. But to also give me a proper workspace to not only edit in, but also so that I can film the filthy, sexy products that I feature on this channel, like this little minx.
Oh yeah, just like that.
Disgusting! Unsubscribe! Originally, I was looking for boomerang-shaped walnut desks so I could get my Captain Picard on.
How'd you like a trip to Romulus?
No thanks, love. That sounds completely mental. But there were just 2 problems with that plan. 1, it wouldn't be practical, and 2, they don't exist. So I did that. I used the app to zoom in the camera. Clever, eh? So I searched for a more practical L-shaped desk that wouldn't look out of place in a Star Trek medical bay, and found this absolute behemoth that will apparently only take 17 weeks to arrive.
It's been 84 years.
17 weeks? 17 weeks? This desk will free me up so much. In the past, I have always filmed everything in like 3 separate locations and it's been really frustrating. Now, I'll be able to not only film everything in one place, should I so choose to, I'll also be able to switch camera angles on the fly, just like this. You know what's coming. We'll find out once and for all what's in here. I'll be kept out of my own bloody garage. We'll talk more about the studio in a minute, but first, here is everything this camera system is going to be able to do for me going forwards. Check this out. I think one of the coolest things about these cameras is the amount of connectivity options. I can take the cameras outside on battery power and connect to them using Wi-Fi and control them with the app and record to the SD card for up to 2 hours before the built-in battery runs out, so entirely wireless. But I can also plug them into my router using the separately purchased power over Ethernet adapters and load them up in OBS Studio across the network using NDI, and the latency at 4K and 30 frames per second is so fast it's spooky. Another really cool thing with this system is this remote. Wait, check, watch. I'm assuming that zoomed in. Yes, it did. Shut up, Wesley. So, what's cool about the remote is I could actually sit here with this by my side, and anytime I wanted it to zoom in, I could just press the button, and it would do exactly that. You can do that live. So if you're a streamer, you can actually press that button to zoom in on your face as part of your live stream, and if you were using this through OBS Studio, you'd be able to switch cameras on the fly. And for me personally, it means that if I ever decide I want to do live streaming, I'll be able to zoom in on my face, or switch cameras on the fly. If I ever got the balls to do live streaming, of course. I'm not scared of live streaming.
Kids get scared.
What's to be scared about? It's just a little hiccup in the power.
I didn't say I was scared.
I'm not scared either, boys.
I didn't say you were scared.
I know.
Not only is it super easy to set custom positions and custom zoom levels, of which you can set 3, you can also set it to follow people and objects. Look at that. I'm gonna follow this violin. This tiny violin that I get out for anyone that thinks that I do too many jokes in my episodes. Diddums. In order to achieve my Star Trek Captain's Ready Room, I have taken inspiration from the Enterprise E, which is mostly reds, creams, and mint greens. I've already bought a new office chair and I'm waiting on that insane desk to arrive. It's been 84 years. In the meantime, I've priced up acoustic panels to cover the walls, 3 out of 4 of which are going to be covered in a similar material to Picard's Ready Room on the Next Generation, and I'm going to have a feature wall as a tribute to 10 Forward. The floor is going to be a nod to the walnut trims on the Enterprise D, and the Piece de la Resistance. This is going to be so cool. So, you know in Picard's Ready Room they've got the LED strips that go around the top of the room? I'm going to do exactly that. But I couldn't find anything anywhere. I searched for ages until eventually, and this is ridiculous, I stumbled across Govee's website. Govee, who I've worked with 6 billion times before, they have really kindly offered to send me this awesome product. These are the Govee LED strip and covers product that they sell and that for some reason I'd never heard of. And they've kindly offered to send me everything I need to make this happen too. And this will be the centerpiece for the room. Once it's all put together, it should look a little bit something like this. I've picked out a whole bunch of furniture and actually bought a bunch of props too, but that's all I'm giving you today. If you want to find out more, I suggest you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It will tell YouTube's algorithms it was good and you want to see some more of this dude, and I will be updating you very shortly on the progress of that garage. And now for the elephant in the room. This thing, if it's blurry right now, it's because I have struggled to get it to focus if I have it static. If I tell it to follow me, it has this like laser in it and it is pin perfect. It's really strange. So I find that every time I'm using it, I need to put it on follow mode so it will follow my face around so that it will stay in focus. But it can get a bit of a wandering eye if you're quite close to the camera. A bit of a pain. If I come too close, it might start focusing on something else and it gets a little bit lost. It's fine at this distance, but you know, kind of any closer it gets a little bit difficult. Some idiot YouTuber was all like, "Ugh, you could totally use it as a vlogging camera." Not unless you've got a really long arm, you would drive yourself insane. I've had a few issues with my Mac, so I discovered quite quickly that OBS Studio would just not accept NDI. There was like no NDI option in OBS Studio. If you're interested in NDI, you'll have to do it on a Windows PC as far as I can tell, because I tried and tried and tried and it just wouldn't work. On top of that, if you want to get NDI licenses, they're 75 quid on top of the camera price, which is already 500 quid. It's not a cheap camera, and I think it would have been better if Obsbot had included a free license for every camera. I think at that price, it probably should have come free. And finally, I'm 99% sure this works just fine on a PC, but on my Apple Mac, if I plug this thing into my Mac, I'm supposed to be able to use it as a webcam, and I can't. I plug it into the Mac, I press the button, it lights up for a second, and then it goes straight back off again. OBS Studio should be able to make use of this as a virtual camera if I press that button, which means you wouldn't actually need the NDI license. But because this is broken too, I can't use OBS Studio at all. I've contacted Obsbot about this, and if it's changed, I shall put an update in the description, so go check there to see if it's changed. I love these cameras, and they're going to play a massive part in my studio going forwards. And I haven't even told you everything yet. What this does. How cool is that? This is a gesture that I have enabled, and I can disable it if I don't want to use it. There is also other gestures, like this one starts and stops recording. This one tells it to start or stop following a human being, and I can actually do this as well. That work? I don't know if that worked or not, but I should be able to zoom in and out by using this method, which is completely insane. As usual, if you're interested in buying anything you've seen in today's video, there are links in the description as to where you can pick one up. In the meantime, this video was brought to you by these incredible people. They're my patrons from Patreon, and if you want to be one of those incredible people, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I will genuinely love you forever. These are my Facebooks and my X's and my TikToks and my Instagrams and my Threads. Before I go, I'm thanking one of my patrons every week. I almost forgot. This week is Matt Parfit, because he has sent me a message thinking that I might be able to afford the original Captain Picard's chair. I can't, Matt. I can't afford that. But thanks for sending it me, because it is beautiful and I enjoyed looking at it. If you want to be like Matt, hit me up on Patreon. See you next time. As usual, if you're interested in buying any of the things you've seen in today's video, there are links in the description.